For most of my life, I thought emotion was a professional death sentence. Seriously, to be successful, I had to be a fortress, stoic, tough, and completely unflappable. But the truth is that fortress became my prison. The very thing I thought made me strong was actually my biggest weakness. It wasn't until I hit rock bottom that I stumbled upon a hidden superpower, one that's inside all of us. The incredible strength of being vulnerable. From a young age, the world kind of teaches us to build these walls, right? We hear, big kids don't cry. In the office, it's, don't take it personally, it's just business. To be a leader, you have to be unshakable. And I took all of that advice to heart. I built my fortress brick by brick. Every time I felt that surge of anxiety before a big presentation, I'd just crush it down. Every time criticism stung, I'd pretend it didn't hurt. I wore this mask of pure, untouchable professionalism. And for a while, I thought it was working. On the outside, I was climbing the ladder. People saw me as reliable, steady, and strong. No one ever saw me sweat. But inside, I was paying a heavy price. The energy it took just to keep all my real feelings suppressed was immense. I felt disconnected from my co-workers because they only knew the polished, curated version of me. My relationships were suffering because I kept everyone at arm's length, terrified that if they saw the real me, the one who was often scared, uncertain, and definitely not perfect, they'd head for the hills. That's the lie of bottling things up. We think it's protecting us, but it's only isolating us. We spend all this energy maintaining our armor, forgetting that it's also weighing us down, stopping us from really connecting with others and even with ourselves. And then it all came crashing down. My rock bottom wasn't some big dramatic movie scene. It was a slow, quiet, crushing collapse. It was a project I'd poured my soul into for months, failing spectacularly. It was getting feedback in a performance review that I was unapproachable and robotic. It was the moment I looked at my life and realized that in my quest to build an impenetrable fortress, I had simply walled myself in. Sure, on paper, I was killing it. But in reality, I was profoundly lonely and completely burnt out. The armor I had so carefully built had become a cage. The very thing I thought made me strong, my emotional invincibility, had actually left me brittle. So when life finally hit me with a force I couldn't ignore, I didn't just bend, I shattered. I was disconnected from my work, my most important relationships were strained, and I just remember thinking, this can't be it. There has to be another way to live. The old way had failed me completely. I was forced to face the fact that my entire definition of strength was not just wrong, it was destructive. So, how did I start to turn things around? It began with one tiny decision. I was going to stop hiding. I started small. I admitted to a colleague I trusted that I was really struggling with that failed project. I was braced for judgment, maybe even pity. Instead, I got empathy. They shared a story of their own massive failure. And in that moment, a real connection formed, a connection my old, armored self would have never, ever allowed. That was my aha moment. I stumbled on the work of researcher Dr. Brené Brown, who defines vulnerability as uncertainty, risk, and emotional exposure. It's not about weakness. In fact, she says it's our most accurate measure of courage. Vulnerability isn't oversharing or complaining. It's the guts to show up and be seen when you have no control over the outcome. I realized that all this time I had it completely backward. But as Dr. Brown's work shows, vulnerability is the birthplace of all the things we're actually craving in life: love, belonging, joy, courage, and creativity. It's the core of any meaningful human experience. I started to get it. True strength isn't about being emotionless. It's about having the courage to feel your emotions and express them in a healthy way. This is the hidden superpower, the ability to be truly vulnerable. It's what separates sterile, transactional interactions from transformative, inspiring leadership. It builds psychological safety, where team members feel safe enough to take risks, admit they messed up, and share their ideas without fearing punishment. Embracing this superpower didn't just change my mindset, it literally changed my life. I started seeing real results in 3 huge areas. First, my relationships got so much deeper. My old strategy was to never, ever show my messy side. The result? Pretty shallow connections. Once I started being vulnerable, sharing what I was actually thinking and fearing, it invited genuine trust. It even made arguments better. Instead of meeting a disagreement with a defensive wall, I could respond with vulnerability, which would de-escalate the tension and build a bridge. My relationships, both at home and at work, became more honest, more resilient, and just real. Second, I found a sense of inner peace. The constant effort of bottling everything up is a huge source of stress. When I finally gave myself permission to just feel, it was like putting down a 100-pound weight I didn't even know I was carrying. My anxiety started to drop. And for the first time, I was actually getting to know myself, my triggers, my fears, and my passions. This is a huge part of emotional intelligence, knowing your own emotions and how they affect you. By facing my insecurities instead of running from them, I built real resilience. I wasn't afraid of difficult feelings anymore because I knew I could handle them. And the third thing, which honestly surprised me the most, was how it changed me as a leader. I always thought a leader had to be this invincible figurehead. I was so wrong. The most effective leaders are the ones who are human. When I started admitting I didn't have all the answers, asking for help, and sharing my own challenges, the whole dynamic of my team shifted. It built trust and psychological safety, creating a space where people felt comfortable enough to be innovative and bring their best ideas forward. It turns out, authentic leadership isn't about having all the answers. It's about having the courage to create a space where everyone feels seen and valued enough to find the answers together. For years, I believed the lie that my emotions were a liability. I built a fortress to hide them, but that fortress only imprisoned me. Hitting rock bottom was probably the best thing that could have happened because it forced me to find a new source of strength. That strength wasn't in armor or in being stoic. It was in the courage to be vulnerable, to show up, let myself be seen, and connect with people on a deeply human level. Vulnerability isn't weakness, it is a superpower. It's the foundation of strong relationships, the key to mental well-being, and the absolute heart of authentic leadership. The journey isn't always easy. It takes guts to take off the mask. But on the other side of that fear is a life with deeper connections, more peace, and more meaningful success than you ever thought possible. A life where you finally feel whole.